Ready? All right, good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome all of you to our town hall for AcMo 2.0. I'm Erwin Wong. I'm the Provost and Senior Vice President of Academic Affairs, and it's been my honor to work with a fantastic group of faculty and staff and students in terms of moving AcMo 2.0 forward. As many of you know, it's the college's mission to see that our students succeed, that they get the academic program necessary to transfer to a senior college, and also to get the skills that are necessary for them to get a job for life-sustaining wages. AcMo 2.0 is basically in alignment with both our mission as well as the universities in terms of seeing that our students can accelerate towards degree completion. Student success has always been at the major focus of our college, and AcMo 2.0 reinforces that. Today at Town Hall, we're going to update everyone on how we are proceeding in the various initiatives for AcMo 2.0, and then we'll entertain any questions that are necessary afterwards. There are various subgroups, and we're going to start off with a presentation and an update for the Gateway Course Completion Group, and the presenter will be Professor Susan Lachwinko and LaShala Burgess.
Thank you. Next slide. Okay, great. Hi, I'm Susan Lachwinko. I'm part of the Gateway Committee. Strong turnout today, awesome. And I'm here to update on the Gateway courses. That includes the first semester courses for math and English that may potentially serve as barriers for students to be able to complete their degree. So first up, I'm just going to go over what's going on in the math department. I'm very excited that we're in the planning phase of having workshops before the spring 2024 semester for faculty. There's been a lot of focus coming out of the pandemic, or the worst of the pandemic, we hope, about the students and the learning loss and all that, but what we're kind of forgetting is the faculty are also affected by this. There's some studies that show faculty are feeling overwhelmed, they're feeling burnt out, fatigued, they feel like there's more on their plate now than pre-pandemic. And just overall dissatisfaction with their jobs, although the research does say that they do feel supported by their schools, which is great. Now, this is not necessarily BMCC, this is overall, but that's really great news that they are feeling supported, however, still burnt out. And before semesters in the past, we used to always do workshops, and those kind of fizzled out because of the pandemic, and now I think it's time to get faculty excited and to focus on faculty and making sure everyone's feeling supported and not overwhelmed, and what can we do for ourselves when we are feeling overwhelmed. So we're going to offer those sometime in January for faculty of 206.5, and 150 and 150.5 already did this in the fall, which is awesome. We also want to increase the number of OER, that's Open Educational Resource, and ZTC, Zero Textbook Cost sections, because there is a lot of, those sections seem to do better, outperform the sections that do have platforms that students have to pay for, and that is a burden for some students and can set them back unnecessarily. So we want to make sure that in the math department, we have a lot of OER resources. We have our own platform, we have our own YouTube channel, we have our own textbooks that we write, and we heavily research on OpenStax. So we do have a lot of opportunities that every instructor should feel as though OER is an option for their class. And next, we're going to give an update on CUNY Start from LaShala.
Thank you, Susan. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm LaShala Burgess, CUNY Start Director. I hope you all are well. It's great to see you today. In terms of the CUNY Start Credit Incentive, the initiative developed out of early academic momentum, gateway course completion, and pre-enrollment discussions, and an overall effort to foster credit accumulation to support college success and to improve graduation rates. We collaborated to create a credit incentive sequence course model through CUNY Start for BMCC freshman students. The idea is for students who may have significant developmental needs but complete CUNY Start successfully to immediately take a credit gateway course in English or math to build on recent acquired knowledge and earn college credits in a subsequent winter or summer session. This model offers an alternative to traditional co-requisite models where students can focus on unfamiliar courses individually while becoming acclimated to college life. And so for summer 23, 22 exiting spring 23, CUNY Start and Math Start students were referred to apply for STEM waivers and register for credit courses. Of those, 12 were eligible and registered for several math courses and other gateway courses. It would be great to scale those up. In regard to what's happening in the English department, and according to John Hodgkins of the English Department and Gateway Course Committee colleague, English 100.7 was created and specifically designed for ESL students. Now this is a combination of ESL 96, let me put that together, ESL 96 and English 101 to give extra help to ESL students and ensure their ability to succeed in required gateway courses. The English department is also making a push to train more supplemental instructors and place them in more English classrooms, particularly English 101, 100.5, and 100.7, with the goal of raising student retention and success. And they're also working they're also working closely with the Learning Resource Center to offer final exam workshops every semester.
Okay, back to me. So that was English, thank you. So then the question is what's going on in both departments. So there is some overlap with what we're trying to do between math and English. As LaShella pointed out, the English is working with the Learning Resource Center to offer final exam review workshops. We are also in math working on that for Math 206.5. I actually have a meeting right after this to disseminate this information to the instructors, which will be, these workshops have been very, very helpful for the students. The students who attend these workshops are way outperforming the students who don't. So we really need to encourage, and in math we also do pre-semester boot camps to build up those skills necessary to succeed in the classes. And we do midterm review workshops in the middle of the semester. And all three of those types of workshops, those students who attend really do excellent in the course and feel more comfortable with the material. And then I think you're going to talk about CUNY Start?
Yep, Jumpstart.
Jumpstart?
Yep. So let me just separate your
Yep,
notes so
sorry.
that we don't get connected again. And so we are very excited to share that CUNY Start, in partnership with ASAP, piloted a Jumpstart program this fall. Jumpstart, in alignment with CUNY's remediation reform policy, provides an opportunity for incoming associate degree seeking students to address deep developmental needs in English or math with CUNY Start while earning up to 3 college credit in a gateway course simultaneously. Ideally, this would be during the student's first semester. A Math Jumpstart course was piloted up at the CUNY in the Heights location for fall 23. We will be expanding to run a math and an English Jumpstart class this spring, both here in Tribeca at Murray Street for the upcoming spring 23 semester.
Just one more thing from me and then I promise I'm done.
You've been doing a lot of work.
We've done a lot. We want to continue to increase PAL, or peer assisted learning, leaders and supplemental instructors for the co-requisite courses, Math 206.5, Math 150.5, English 101, 100.5, and 100.7. The pass rates among those classes that have these PAL or SI leaders compared to the sections that don't is astounding. So in Math 150, there's an 80% pass rate for those classes with SI leaders compared to the non-SI leaders, which is 56%. Again, that was 80% compared to 56%. Very similarly, in English 101, those with the SI leader have a 78% pass rate and the non-SI is 56, so basically identical there. In 150.5, that's our statistics with elementary algebra, it's a 73% versus 48%. So there's a 35% increase in pass rate. And then for 100.5, it's 84% versus 49% for 100.5. So huge difference when you have that knowledgeable peer in your classroom to help all of the students. Now, those statistics are great, However, that 80% for Math 150, that's only 83 students. So that's maybe 4 sections compared to 1,762 students in non-SI. For English 101, it was only 2 sections of 55 students versus 4,033 in a non-SI. In 150.5, it was 1 section of 33 versus 900. So we need to increase our SI leader sections. We need to increase these PAL leader sections because there's clearly a huge benefit to having these people, these peers in the classroom helping these students. So we want to try to increase. We want to get faculty on board. We want to get students on board. And I think that is everything.
Okay.
So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next group is degree maps.
Thank you, everybody. I'm Carrie Thomas from the Academic Advisement and Transfer Center, representing the Degree Maps subcommittee. Overall, our committee has been working very closely with other campuses, particularly City College of New York and Lehman College, to update our 2+2 degree maps. But first, I would like to tell you about Transfer Explorer. So a tremendous amount of work was completed by our transfer ambassadors, Christina Borowski from the Academic Advisement and Transfer Center and Megan Cook from the Registrar's Office, to review and update and work very closely with the academic chairs to look at the course equivalencies in Transfer Explorer, and where possible to modify courses that were listed as just electives to direct course equivalencies. In addition, they worked with all of the academic departments to identify faculty who will become trainers, and they conducted a train the trainer training. I know, lots of training overall, on the use of Transfer Explorer. The faculty then reached out to their department and achieved the goal of training 50% of all full-time faculty on the use of Transfer Explorer. Overall, the college met this goal by the June 30th deadline, and we have begun the second phase of the Transfer Explorer outreach, which is to students to utilize the transfer plans feature in Transfer Explorer. Transfer plans allow students to memorialize their intention of going to another school once they complete at BMCC. The students can indicate not just CUNY campuses that they're interested in going to, but also SUNY and private colleges. So please encourage students to utilize the Transfer Plans tab. We've been working very closely with the central office and with Chris Bonacore from Lehman College, because we are one of the first campuses to really champion transfer plans. They are adding in additional features like an edit option, which we really asked for. And they're also including new features that will be rolled out in the spring semester. As I mentioned before, we've been working closely with City College on the creation of 2+2 degree maps. These will be called Transfer Optimization Planning Sheets. Students will see the optimal way to complete their associate degree and then the courses that they would need to take at City College. But we're taking it one step further. City College is committed to welcoming students in, and they have hired recent BMCC graduates to act as transfer ambassadors and peers that will help orient students once they've gotten over to City College. In addition, we're having a BMCC CCNY convening for CCNY's 1847 Academy, which is meant to bolster transfer into their institution. The convening will be on Friday, December the 8th at 9 o'clock. I believe it's in the Hudson Room, but depending on how many people would like to come, we might need to find a bigger venue. For faculty and staff who are interested in learning more about the 1847 Academy, please join us. You can RSVP to the Provost's Assistant, Lisa St. Hill, to RSVP. Representatives from Academic Affairs, Student Affairs, the faculty from CCNY will all be in attendance that day. In addition, we've been working very closely with Lehman College to review and update all of the 2+2 maps that have already been created for a number of the different programs. And we plan to roll this out and work with other campuses that we have identified problematic transfer so that we can holistically support the student in their transition. Thank you.
Mohammed Alam is now going to talk about credit accumulation campaigns and strategies.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everybody. The subcommittee had two general tasks. One was credit accumulation prior to BMCC, and the second one was credit accumulation while at BMCC. So for the first one, as you know, CUNY has a policy where all credits must transfer from one CUNY institution to the another. However, we had a lot of transfer students who could not really take advantage of that because of the in-residence credit requirement that we had at BMCC. So what we have done, the college has done, is that they reduced the in-credits requirement from 50% to 25%. That's basically going from 30 credits to 15. And this is effective for spring 2023. However, that alone was not enough, and to facilitate seamless progression towards degree completion after students bring in a lot of transfer credits, a team of people from academic advisement and the registrar's office looked at thousands of transfer credits rules that we have that are old and outdated. And because they're old and outdated, students are not able to get transfer credit for those. So that project has been completed over the summer, and this is an overlapping item that Carrie just talked about. The second piece of it is basic credit accumulation while at BMCC. In order to facilitate that, the college has been informing, encouraging, and supporting certain groups of students to try 15 credits in a semester and 30 credits in a year, including enrollment in winter and summer. The second thing is that the continuing education and the CIS department, they work together to establish micro-credentials, stackable credits, so that students can finish those programs and then they can actually come to BMCC and get some credits related to their degree requirements at BMCC. And CIS department also established a cybersecurity degree program that will actually help those students who complete those credits to get a certificate from BMCC and then move on to get an associate degree from BMCC. Next slide, please. So what is that we are currently doing? So we completed the project to look at our transfer credit rules, but that's not enough because the team who worked on this, they used their best judgment. They worked with the academic departments to update all of those rules. And we are seeing sometimes students coming to us saying that I'm not happy with my transfer credit evaluation. I think I should get more credits. So in those cases, we are working with the admissions office, we are working with the students, and admissions office is working with the academic departments to actually reevaluate those transfer credits. So if you come across anybody who's not happy with their transfer credit evaluation, have the student get the course description, a syllabus of the course, a transcript, and send them to the department, and the department know how to work with the admissions office to get that evaluation corrected or reevaluate their transfer evaluation. The committee is also reviewing existing FYE initiatives for integration of credit accumulation themes, reviewing available technologies to support informed student decision making. So far, we've been using CUNY First and a schedule builder for messaging, and we are looking into other platforms to provide more meaningful, more targeted messaging to the students, including using EAB and Brightspace that we are about to implement at BMCC. And the next steps that we think the college should take, discuss supplemental instruction strategies to decrease DFW courses, and explore expansion of supplemental instructions and other academic supports for high DFW courses. Collaborate across work teams to maintain momentum for credit for prior learning, including credit for Heroes Initiative. This is basically for those students who are enrolled at BMCC, veteran students, we refer them to as, and we have over 150 students enrolled this semester in that initiative. And this is something that we are not really talking about a lot at BMCC. Other schools like John Jay, when they get a veteran students, they automatically give those students a lot of transfer credits because they completed certain training while they were at work. And we are losing our advantage when we try to recruit those students. So this is going to actually help those students for us to be able to go out there and recruit them. And the last piece of it is assess the efficacy of credit accumulation efforts. Just so you know, we've been providing automated messages to those students who have 3.0 GPA, earned 20 credits, and they are entitled to flat rate tuition. After they enroll for 12 credits, then they get an encouragement message. And the theme is not only to encourage them to take more courses, also to encourage them to take it for free. A lot of people do make that mistake. We are encouraging them to take advantage of the fact that they're eligible for flat rate tuition to add one or two more courses so that they can actually finish their degree a little faster. We are trying to figure out who will be the right group of students for that automated messages. Obviously, if they're meeting with the advisor, based on their unique custom need, they're advising them to do more credits. But when we are providing automated message, it's a bit difficult. We piloted with 2.5 GPA with all the other variables remaining the same. And we actually analyzed that data and we found out that students, even though they initially enroll for 1 or 2 extra courses, at the end, they end up dropping those courses. Then we changed that requirement from 2.5 to 3.0 to see, how they are doing, what is their behavior. We had 2 semesters with that configuration. However, we lost some data from fall 2023. We have data from spring 23, so we're going to do the same thing. In fact, it's actually going on right now for spring 24. We're going to get the data from spring 24 and we're going to assess it to see, what's happening, and we're going to compare 2.5 GPA requirement with 3.0 to see, if this is the right group for our initiative or not. That's all. Thank you.
All right, now we're going to hear about establishing a foundation for seamless and timely transfer.
You are. I'm Lisa Casper. I'm the Director of Admissions, and I'm also the lead for this lovely little group that we've assembled. I don't think anybody else is here today from my group, but I'm sure they're with us in spirit. So our general tasks were conducting a college-wide CUNY First course equivalency audit and train faculty and staff on TRECs. So I think we've kind of talked about that a little bit, but we could maybe add another couple of updates. Increase the promotion and visibility of articulation agreements. Many students, especially coming into BMCC, have no idea what an articulation agreement is. So trying to get that vocabulary, making them more aware of that and what it is and how important it is, and increasing the promotion and visibility of TRECs, and exploring the creation of additional transfer academies. That's a more difficult one. So what has already been done? College-wide CUNY First course equivalency audit is complete. 100% of the CUNY to CUNY course equivalency rules have been reviewed. An approval process is now in place and operational for new courses that are coming in without a BMCC equivalency, and they're reviewed on an ongoing basis in conjunction with AATC, faculty, and admissions. A review of rules for more than 20 non-CUNY schools has also been completed, and more in the works. And then TRECs training is complete for full-time professional advisors, students, and faculty. Transfer acceptance emails also include a link to TRECs. So when we send students an acceptance letter saying you've been accepted, and we're working on your evaluation, we also give them a link to TRECs. So it gives them a little bit more, that makes them more proactive and more involved in the process, that they could go ahead and see what their evaluation may look like. And it gives us a little bit of breathing room as we're working on that. Also, a link to BMCC's articulation agreements has been added as of spring 23. to all of the acceptance emails. So we talk a little bit about that. What are you going to do next? So you've been accepted to BMCC, what's next? And then we talk a little bit about, what an articulation agreement is. And in addition, we have developed a landing page called BMCC and Beyond. So that has links to articulation agreements. It talks about what an articulation agreement is. It says, maybe some of you might want to go on, complete, and get a 4-year degree. Others might want to enter the workforce. So we have links to different apprenticeship programs that we have and other options for students. But we're really heavily pushing the articulation agreements. And then AATC has created a searchable database of articulation agreements, which is more user-friendly, it's visually appealing. Students can search for their articulation agreements by more than just maybe what their major is. So they might be undeclared, but they know that they maybe live close to Lehman and that's where they want to go. They can just search by that. So that is what's been done. And then just a little bit as far as where do we go from here and next steps. So the CUNY rules, the review of those CUNY transfer, non-CUNY transfer rules, that'll be ongoing. And then we're continuing to work with our 4-year partners on outreach to their declined population. That's a really big pipeline for us. So we always worked with John Jay, we've worked with Baruch. Now we have something called a Hunter Promise program where they send us students that they've declined, and then we have the opportunity to reach out to them. They also have a Hunter Promise Day where we attend that. So it gives us a little bit of more targeted outreach to those populations. And then I guess finally, and probably this has been our most problematic issue, is that lots of students graduate and they have this articulation agreement in their hand and they're all set to go to Hunter, Baruch, whatever. And then when they get there, it's not totally honored. So we've heard a lot of feedback from faculty that have sent their students to Hunter with the actual copy of the agreement so that they can fight for their rights. And we actually, in our first meeting with Hunter College, talked a little bit about that, and there was an acknowledgement that this does exist, that there are some programs that are not acknowledging and taking those courses. So there's a lot of discussion that needs to take place, but I think it's more than our humble subcommittee can really change. So I think that's going to be one of our biggest recommendations. Thank you.
Now we're going to hear about curriculum, and the Gail Fernandez will present.
Hello, everyone. Our general tasks included improving transparency and availability of information about credit for prior learning opportunities, including military students. And I just want to clarify a little bit about credit for prior learning. It's similar to the transfer credits that everyone's talking about that they get accepted elsewhere, but when we talk about credit for prior learning, it could be coursework that students did in high school, such as an AP course. That is credit for prior learning. We also talk about work. If you are in an industry that you earned a credential or that you have information that shows that the work you've done is equivalent to a course, you can get credit for that as well. It also extends to the military. And the military actually does have courses on its own, but they also have experiences that can relate to courses. So it is a very broad topic. So along with talking about the availability of information for credit for learning, we also started to establish processes for evaluating military joint service transcripts and awarding credit for that. What we learned is that it is very complicated. We met with some faculty chairs and we looked at some of the transcripts and how can you show that there are equivalencies. And an initial discussion probably went a little slower than we expected, and we'll go back and revisit that some more, because it's not a clearly, like, you can't say, oh, they spent 3 credits or 45 hours equals 3 credits. Military works a little differently. So that was a big lesson that we learned. What we're currently working on is, along with CUNY, it has its own group working on credit for prior learning, and they're creating a request for portfolio evaluation, which is, we have our own that we're creating some forms with admissions, and the registrar and our group are working together. We are creating a process where when a student comes in, they, if we can either determine that they get credit, or it can be sent to faculty for their approval. It's an electronic form that the registrar is helping us lead, and then if the department chair signs off along with faculty, the student can get some credit. As I just said, we're also aligning all of this with the work that's being done for the CUNY Office of Credit for Prior Learning. They have a very detailed portfolio evaluation, which may be a little bit more than what we need at this stage in the game. So our next steps, especially sitting here today, is that we do need to meet with our other working groups, because a lot of our work complements one another. And I can see now that a lot of the work we're doing, we're overlapping with each other, so it'll definitely help for us all to meet and hear things like this. We also need to find out how many students apply for prior learning credit here. And then in partnership with the admissions office, we're creating a communication plan so that students understand how to apply for credit for prior learning. Students come in and they may not realize that their previous experiences or credits or military experience can award them credit and help them progress toward graduation more quickly. We will also invite the CUNY Director of Credit for Prior Learning to meet with our working group so that we can understand better how the university is approaching it. Thank you.
Now we're going to hear about preparing students for transfer from Dean Michael Hutnick.
Good afternoon, everyone. So our team has been working with preparing the students to actually make the transfer from BMCC to their four-year school of choice. So, we wanted to focus on what students have told us and their experience of a shock or anxiety of transferring from the comfort of their BMCC home to a new home elsewhere in CUNY. So we came up. We had three activities that we focused on. The first one is to amplify the seamless transfer models, and in this we identified resources that already exist at some four-year schools, and how do we advertise what they're doing for our students? Because some programs have a natural connection, such as the CUNY Justice Academy of John Jay and College Discovery programs that go right into SEEK at the four-year schools. So we wanted to advertise what other programs are out there for students that are maybe not in a cohort program. So one of the things that the team looked at was looking at established peer mentoring programs. It was sort of mentioned in Carrie's presentation about the ambassador program that City does. But we're going to see what schools they have in a mentoring program for students that are coming from BMCC going to the four-year school that are from BMCC. They can serve as mentors and guides for those incoming students. So the next step is to create a pilot or memorandum of understanding with the 3 of the top CUNY transfer schools, which we found out to be Brooklyn College, City College, and Hunter College. So we're going to look at those processes, see what programs they have and how we can coordinate with them. The next activity we focused on was the transfer and programming training. So after doing an environmental scan of what happens here at BMCC through the different processes, different programs of how we prepare our students for transfer, the team came up with 2 documents. The first one is a transfer timeline guide, and the second one is a transfer checklist. And they're really used to help the students learn about the process, stay on track with the process, and use it as a conversation piece with their advisors. So it's a conversation starter with advisors and the students when they're talking about the transfer, the next steps for transferring. So the timeline, again, it's a guide that they use right from enrollment all the way through the transfer process. The checklist is designed to help the students stay organized when they have to submit certain items at certain times, so they stay on track and don't have to rush to the last minute to submit things and ask for recommendations and submitting requests for everything. So those documents have been created. They're being used. The Academic Advising Transfer Center is currently taking the point on using and developing these further. And finally, we established our non-academic handoffs. As you know, students come to school to learn their area of discipline and study, but there's a lot of things that happen outside that we provide services and support for them. So we want to make sure that we are creating this transfer of continued support that they get outside the classroom. So what we did, we met with about 30 of our non-academic BMCC support services. We came up with a contact list of their counterparts at the 11 four-year schools. So working with public affairs, we created a web page where students, advisors, and anyone can really look at to see how the services translate from BMCC to a four-year school. So if they want to use, if they were using, say, the pantry here at BMCC, where would the pantry be at the next school? So we've divided it we created 2 tabs on it, one by college. So if you're interested in going to a specific college, you can see where all the similar services are located. But if you're not sure what school you are going to, but you want to know about veteran services at a four-year school, you can see where they're located at all the different sites. So the next steps with that is to try to create more of a direct contact and have those four-year campuses come here for those specific service areas and have presentations or workshops for students that are using them. Accessibility, international, veterans, athletes, students that are involved in mentoring or student activities. So that's where we are right now. Thank you.
And now we're going to hear about communications from Louis Chan.
Hello, good afternoon. The communications committee. General task is collaborate with other AcMo 2.0 subcommittees to ensure that all aspects of AcMo 2.0 are being appropriately communicated throughout the college community. What has been done, communication goes out every week at our e-newsletter titled @BMCC. We use social media, campus TV monitors, calendar listings, and sometimes email updates. For example, some short videos on social media regarding National Transfer Week, transfer fairs, and promotion of various MOUs that the college are involved in. Scheduling town halls and coordinating town halls such as this. Writing and tagging news articles related to AcMo 2.0, especially if we talk about stories or student experiences or programs that will help seamless transfers for BMCC students. By tagging them, we'll have a catalog of stories related to AcMo 2.0. And then also current next steps, similar to what I just mentioned. Also, we will continue to communicate all the different various programs and tools that exist with using tools such as @BMCC, BMCC News, Campus Monitors, social media. We're also recommending that subcommittees use a centralized document storage and sharing system, also known as AcMo 2.0 SharePoint. This helps promote transparency and shows progress along the way. And eventually, our hope is that in the future, when this moves on and completes, we have a public-facing body of work that we can share to the greater college community. And also have students who have navigated through the CUNY transfer process share their positive experiences. And also, finally, we will include helpful resource links on AcMo's 2.0 website.
All right, are there any questions from the, all right. Now, no questions from the viewers, which means that we did a great job in explaining everything to the group. As many of you have realized and seen, though, a lot is going on at the college that we're implementing to try to make the momentum for the students very successful. I want to thank the committee members for the hard work they're doing in terms of investigating, figuring out what's going on, also seeking to implement, working with the other subcommittees and also with departments, faculty, and staff. And again, a lot of this success is not just on what we're unearthing and discovering and initiating, but also because it's a college-wide effort. So that it's not just what we're saying and doing, but it's what everyone at the college is doing. Because academic momentum is a college-wide effort, and so the success that you see is basically the success of everyone. And our end goal, obviously, is to make sure that our students will be successful and transfer and also get the life-sustaining wages and a career. So we thank you for the attendance. And Louis?
There is one question that just
Oh,
popped
yes.
up. It just came in. Should I ask?
Sure.
Are we considering using new app-based interventions that alert students to the area that needs to be improved, taking into account their social-demographic, the number of classes and other factors to notify?
All right, Janice, that sounds like it's up your alley. Dean Janice Numa.
Okay. Thank you. So I don't have any definitive response, but we will be implementing Navigate 360 effective fall 2024. And that platform has a student app that will allow us to customize messages out to students and target particular student populations and also conduct surveys. So I think if there's a specific need, people should let us know what it is and we can customize the platform to address those needs.
Thank you, Dean. So, any other questions? All right. Again, I thank everyone for the work that they're doing. And again, it's not in a vacuum. Everything we're doing is practical and effective. Mentioned about communications and the work that was done by Dean Hotmaker's group. And actually, we took those recommendations and we actually posted them on the website to help to incentivize the students to continue to work hard and to progress. And we are seeing upticks in terms of how students are doing. As you heard data about the co-requisite courses, students are very successful. So the goal is to try to, again, upscale. Supplemental instruction, tutoring, again, low-hanging fruit, and it's very easy to have the students take advantage of that. We've worked with the Academic Senate standing committees to have them very simply put in the syllabus recommendations, perhaps incentivize students to take advantage of tutoring and SI. So again, we're all working, we're all collaborating together to try to make all of the initiatives effective. And really, we're not just talking in a vacuum, but we're actually applying it. And we're seeing the fruits of our success. So again, I congratulate everybody for the great work they're doing. It doesn't stop. We'll continue to do this next semester and then update people on how we're progressing as we continue. But again, fantastic work, great work, and I say congratulate yourselves, pat yourselves on the back, and continued success as we wind up the semester. Thank you.